Hey everybody, welcome to the deep dive. I'm here all alone today, so Drew is tied up in another meeting, and so they're actually giving me free reign, and so that's kind of scary. And so who knows what we're going to talk about? Actually, I do have four topics I really want to hop on here and kind of get stuff out to you all. We're actually just heading into Thanksgiving, and it's amazing to me how fast the year has gone. And we're sitting here. I know earlier in the year in January, February, stuff was moving kind of slow. And all of a sudden it picked up steam throughout the summer, and it's not slowed down since then. But man, oh man, we have so many things to be thankful for, and just the life that we get to live, the families that we're around, the communities that we're in, so many blessings of life, our freedoms that we have here in America. And it's just such a great spot to be in. And one of the things I'm so thankful for is you all and the trust you placed in us. And goodness, Stace and I were talking about coming up in January. Creamer Wealth Advisors will be celebrating our 30th anniversary. That's 30, 3 decades that we've been working with clients all across the country. And just a little update on a couple things. We are actually now have clients in 48 states. It's hard to believe we're in 48 states, pretty much coast to coast. We have clients in, and it's amazing how just the word that you all spread, and you've told so many of your friends and family to work with us, and it's been such a blessing, and we're so thankful for that relationship. So thank you so much for that. And kind of coming up here in a couple of weeks, we'll give kind of year-end roundup on things and where we're at and things that we're seeing. But I did want to say to start off, hey, thank you all so much. Something else that a lot of you are aware of, and I'll pull it up right here. This book, Your Blueprint for Purpose, Build the Life You've Always Dreamed About. First book that I've put out. And it's really a book that we've really come to love the process. And we started a podcast about a year ago, and I had this vision that we help good people make great decisions to live an incredible life. But what if we just get people together and just have a conversation, 30-minute conversation every single week with people from all different backgrounds? And some of you, dear friends of our firm, and then otherwise we have folks that are CEOs of technology companies, large money management firms, to income planning firms, to doctors, to attorneys, CPAs, and let's just financial planners. Let's just have a discussion about how to make better decisions to really live an incredible life. And we took 12 of those interviews and put them in that book, Your Blueprint for Purpose. It actually was released on Tuesday of this week at Amazon. And, we've already had probably over 600 copies, actual hard copies sold. And the book is hard to believe, but it became an Amazon.com bestseller. And it's number one in retirement planning, number two in wealth management, number two in successful ebooks. It was actually the number one new release by Amazon.com this last week. And so a huge amount of people have ordered the book, ordered the ebook, and just a blessing to get that out to everybody. If you don't have a copy, you want to have a personal copy, feel free to reach out to the office, and Colleen will get that shipped out to you. So you can get a hardback copy if you want that, or you can head online and pick up the digital copy also. They're at Amazon.com. So it's a great resource that we have. And actually working as far as concept on the new book. I'm trying to roll one book out a year. And so two different concepts that I'm kind of working on, get interested for feedback from you all. The first one is really kind of a modern day parable and a story of walking through a process of discovering true wealth and living it out. And it kind of goes into the financial planning process. And so telling a story, and it's really kind of a composition of all of your lives, quite honestly. And the stories that you have so inspired me in, and you've encouraged me to be a better version of myself just by watching how you've lived life and how you've executed on your financial plans. And so that's one concept of a book that we're really working about potentially bringing out. Another one really kind of goes back to the podcast format. And so as many of you guys know, I am a lover of barbecue. And so I love going out and having barbecue with friends, and I love enjoying that. And I've actually thought about having a video, just a video YouTube podcast, kind of going along the same lines as Great Decisions, Incredible Lives. That we'll continue to put out more new content on, but where I go out with each of you. And so wherever you live, anywhere across the country, just come fly in or drive in or be here in Peoria, and just go to a favorite barbecue place and sit down, have barbecue together, talk about the barbecue, but then also talk about your own personal journey and the things of life that you've worked through, and just your definition of true wealth and how you're living it out. thinking about calling the book, I always have time for brisket. And actually, I had brisket last night with 6 of my dear friends, and but that's the other concept. And so those are 2 book ideas we're working on for next year. But this one here, it exceeded expectations. I cannot believe the number of downloads. If you have a copy, if you want a signed copy, feel free to reach out to Colleen and she'll get you one. Changing gears a little bit here, as far as the stock market, we're still kind of watching things, and we always talk about the noise, which is the what we see in the media, what we see as far as the news. We talk about really some of the noise coming even from financial media, and talking about just where the stock market is at, and it's moving up and moving down, and but we had a really good run this year as far as in the U.S. based equity market, and but we're starting to see the market get a little bit tired under the surface. And so, as a lot of you know, and you've been following our trade signals for the last couple of years and been very pleased with that. And so, you know that it's kind of like when you're riding on a train and the conductor puts on the brake of the train. So it's going at full speed. He applies the brake, and the train doesn't stop immediately, but it begins to slow down. And so the momentum is slowing, and then eventually it comes to a stop. What we're starting to see under the surface of the market is that the momentum is slowing down. And so we're still seeing new highs every now and then. Now, we last new high was about 2.5 weeks ago, but we're still seeing new highs approaching, and then we kind of come back. Well, the lows that we're seeing are starting to set in more often, and the number of days of runs are actually starting to decrease. And so, but that being said, we're starting to see things slow down a little bit. So we do have some concerns, and so you'll probably notice we've been taking a little bit of profit. If you have a growth stock portfolio, and some of you do, and some of you don't, but you'll notice we made a purchase of Palantir, and which was a phenomenal purchase, and we picked up 13% in just a couple of days. But then it started to slow down a little bit. And so also some of you have been invested in NVIDIA and familiar with that name. Right now, 20% of the gains of the S&P 500 is made up just with NVIDIA stock this year. And so NVIDIA put out a really good earnings report yesterday, this last week here, and but the stock actually went down a little bit. And so we're starting to see the leaders starting a little bit tired. And so because of that, we're kind of starting to take a little bit of a different approach and making sure that we're going to preserve dollars there. Heading into this year, if you have some concerns about the market, or if you have a need to withdraw funds anytime in the next 12 to 18 months, make sure you talk to your advisor and let them know that, because we don't want to see the market move down and there not be an adjustment in the risk in your account. And we think that may be coming up pretty soon. So if you have a need for any withdrawals, make sure you talk to your advisor here this next week. We're headed to the end of the year, and so I want to put in mind also year-end planning. And so with year-end planning, if you need to make any charitable contributions, if you have an IRA and you're over age 70 and a half and you want to give charitably, we recommend doing that through a qualified charitable distribution from your IRA. Roth conversions also are kind of slowing down here at the end of the year, or giving of appreciated stock. Any of those items we can still get done. We like to try to get all those requests made really by about the 10th to the 14th of the month of December, because we know with the holidays, things kind of slow down and get backlogged. We definitely want to make sure we don't miss anything. So year-end planning, Roth conversions, qualified charitable distribution of IRAs, or any charitable giving of stock, or cash, we'll make sure you get that done by the 12th to the 14th of the month of December. And so make sure you reach out to your advisor and walk through all those decisions. The last thing I want to talk about is simply the election results. And so we did have a nationwide election here in America that was completed that first week in the month of November. And immediately following that, there was a large run-up for 4 days, and then we saw the market actually pull back, and we've not recaptured those highs that we realized there as far as in the month of November. Now, with an election result, we need to recognize that there might be a bump initially, or there might be a pullback initially. Well, that really goes to the emotion surrounding the election. In this case here, we really believe that the market does not necessarily like Republicans or Democrats. It's not partisan as far as on how the market moves. But keep in mind that what the market does like is it likes certainty more than uncertainty. It likes for things to be decided. So whether or not we have a preference as far as for the outcome or we didn't care for the outcome, what we do need to recognize, though, is that there was some certainty in the election. And so in the presidential election, with the electoral college votes, and then also with the popular vote going toward President Trump, one candidate, Then we knew that it was not going to be a split decision. We knew that it was not going to be lengthened out as far as the lawsuits. It was really a decisive victory from President Trump over Vice President Harris. At the same time, we also saw that the Senate was decided pretty early on, and there's still out in Pennsylvania one last recount effort ongoing right now that needs to be completed by the first part of the 25th of the month of November. But that one is also set as far as who controls the Senate, and the House was just decided this last week. So with that, that allowed everyone to say, okay, we know where things are at, but now we have to get back to the economy. We have to get back to where are we at as far as on employment, unemployment, where are we at with inflation, where are we at the labor participation rate, and oftentimes people look at the employment number and say unemployment went up or it went down. We always pay attention to what's called the labor participation rate. That's of people ages 18 to 65. What percentage of that population is working and being productive within our society from an economic standpoint? And so we've actually seen that tick down a little bit the last 6 months. And again, probably 1 percentage point, 2 percentage points over the course of the year. So we'd say not real significant, but when you're looking at that many number of people, that large of a population, that is a large amount of people. So we do have some concerns heading into the first of the year about the overall economy. We do know inflation. There was some thoughts that inflation was getting under control, so the Federal Reserve will lower interest rates again in December, and maybe 1 to 3 times in the first 6 months of next year. However, inflation numbers actually have been a bit more resilient, and we see inflation kind of fighting a little bit higher. And so with that, there is really a probability that we'll see many decreases actually going down. All of that plays into your goals. And so, folks, you want to make sure we're not looking at any insular things, but we're actually saying from a broad-based standpoint, how does all this play together for you to accomplish your goals? Anyway, everybody, I want to tell you thank you so much for the support you've given to us. Thank you for also downloading the book and ordering the book. That was great. Love that. Number one bestseller at Amazon.com. I could not believe that actually happened. And so I always say it's kind of funny. Who wants to listen to a couple folks from Central Illinois talk about their life and the things that's going on? But you guys have done a phenomenal job. And again, guys, a lot of planning things. Make sure you reach out to your advisor, connect, and walk through these topics talked about today. Anyway, guys, Drew will be back next week, and we'll chat with you all then. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.